Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Senator, Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some whiskey, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 38th official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a Cuban cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We discuss legendary Cuban tobacco farmer Don Alejandro Robaina. We reveal one of the lizard's greatest cigars of all time, and Bam refuses to share cigars with Pagoda, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Akashi White Oak Japanese whiskey with the Vegas Robaina Unicos. Another Cuban pyramid on the pod tonight. We continue our battle of the pyramids with the Vegas Robaina Unicos, which is a 52 ring gauge by 6 1/8 inches cigar. And since I got these boxes, guys, I've really kind of been enamored with the wrapper on it.
Yeah.
Like every time I open the box, it's like, I don't want to use the word optical illusion, but it just, for some reason, when these all are sitting in a row, 13 in a row on the top of the box, it's just like, it's like mesmerizing how good these cigars look.
This is a Colorado wrapper, right? On this?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they call it a Colorado, but
That's what I've read.
Really?
Yep, just earlier today. I'm not sure if that's accurate.
I mean, from like Denver.
Denvercigars.com. That's where I get my info.
So this is from the Upman Factory, GEM, September 2021.
GEM is good.
GEM's a good
box
code. So I've only had one out of the this box when I got it. I got it about probably, 2 months ago, I'd say. 2-3 months ago. I haven't had another one since that first one. It was good. It wasn't great, but I think it was just a little too humid. So we'll see how we do in the pod. So
Yeah, FOH actually, when they reviewed the stick,
Yeah.
it was the same box code.
Really? Oh, good.
GEM, maybe it was May or
Good. Okay. Well, I'm hopeful, and I guess we'll see how we do. But let's cut this thing, boys. See what we're getting on the cold draw. The wrapper. We have a lot of love for Vegas Robaina in this room. We could talk about that in a little bit, but they only make 2 cigars right now. They make this, the Unicos, and they make the
Famosas.
the Famosas, which is a Hermosa, like a number 4 Corona Extra, little thing. It's only 5 inches long, 48 ring gauge. So
I like the wrapper. It smells great.
it does.
The wrapper smells great, and wow, the cold draw puts off a lot of flavor.
It's like fruity.
Yeah. Maybe a tad baking spice.
I hesitate to use the word leather because I don't mean it in a Sir Winston type of sense, leather.
Yeah, there is leather.
But there's something there that's a little leathery.
Like old leather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I can see that.
It tastes old. What year is this?
21.
Oh, boy.
These are young babies.
Interesting.
Like I said, hopefully the moisture is handled appropriately. They've been in my tower for about 2 months. So
And do you get chocolate when you smell the wrapper?
I do. On the wrapper, absolutely chocolate.
Light cocoa, I
Like,
get.
coffee.
Yeah.
I get the cocoa. Light.
Yeah.
It's a really beautifully constructed cigar. Like I said, the wrapper I think is rustic, I want to say, but it's really well constructed. It sounds great.
How much are these?
It looks great. That's a really good question. Right now, I mean, after the price jump,
Oh, no one knows what things are.
Yeah, I mean,
prices
they're probably $20 a stick.
Okay.
now.
Wow. That's
Before, I think when I bought these, I got them for like 14 or 15.
wow.
I think now they're probably about 20.
Okay.
So,
The good old days, 2020.
all right, boys, let's light this thing. The Vegas Robaina Unicos. Again, it's a pyramid, 52 ring gauge by 6 1/8 inches. And we have high hopes for this thing.
You really got to light this thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
you do.
I've found that with every one of these that I've had, it really takes a lot of flame.
I don't mind it, though. Like Bam said, it smells incredible.
It smells
does
so
smell
good.
Yeah. All right, let's see what
Yeah,
we're doing
I've
here.
gone through probably half a tank of butane through going just to light this.
That's good.
Milk chocolate.
Yeah.
Coffee, right? Coffee with cream. Café con leche.
It really reminds me of an Upman too, which we haven't done yet on the pod, but it's in that family for me
I kind of think
as
you're
far as
right.
flavor.
I agree with that. Just
Yeah.
with this though, I feel like richer,
This is
darker
more,
flavors.
it's deeper,
than
deeper
yeah.
flavors of Upman too. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you get leather. I mean, I get some leather and like
Definitely.
like,
Leather,
like
chocolate,
coffee,
coffee.
Oh, I definitely get the coffee and
Little fruity.
and little cocoa and little
little
fruit.
dried fruit.
Very
All-
complex.
All those things make for a great start.
So if the whole cigar would taste like the beginning,
Oh, it's going to be a 10.
it's
You
typically
have many nines in this
never
room.
the case.
A lot of 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
So far, the Battle of the Pyramids, let's go through what we've done. We did
BBF.
BBF, I guess, is a bellicoso. We'll kind of
Monty-
count it, but we
Monty
won't.
2,
Monty 2.
right.
We've done the P2.
P2.
We did the San Cristobal,
Oh, the La Punta.
La Punta. We'll count that. We'll put that one on the bench.
That's in the garbage can right now. But
Yeah.
We didn't do the Upman 2
We didn't do the Upman 2.
or,
No.
the Diplo 2.
And the Diplo 2. And I think that's kind of covered. We did the P2 as well.
Yes.
We did the P2. So we're kind of, we have a couple left, but a wonderful Vitola from Habanos.
This is fantastic.
What was our rating on the Monty 2 compared to the E2?
The P2, you mean?
P2, I mean. Was the Monty higher or was the P2
I don't remember. We'd have to look.
Yeah. Vaguely remember the P2 being a bit higher.
Yeah, but I think the Monty 2 did perform well and
It
was
did,
surprising.
and
in
it
the
was
room.
delicious, yeah.
I think both of them were in the 8s.
Worth looking up.
Yeah, I can.
This so far has like more strength than any of the torpedoes that we have had so far. Even more than the P2, I think.
I agree.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely the Monty 2 for sure.
Yeah.
But the
Can't
more
disagree with
body, more like concentrated flavors.
I think 100% more than the P2, all of them.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Would you call this a full cigar
So
for Habanos?
it's a-
For Habanos,
I would.
I think this is probably on the higher end.
Well, I mean, we just lit it, right? So let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying that is just I feel like most cigars on the light start off as light as they're ever going to get. And they only pick up in strength if they're even going to pick up. So the fact that this already, I think, starts full,
Yeah.
I mean, it can only get stronger from here.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you like it, Pagoda?
No, I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually pleasantly surprised.
I think because of that increasing strength profile, Puba
Yeah.
would probably throw it down in about 3 minutes.
But he does love an Upman too, and I do think that this is it's kind of in the wheelhouse, maybe a little bit more of an oomph as of right this second.
Yeah.
And
I love
love
the Upman too, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't
Oh.
wait to do that cigar.
Spectacular cigar.
So the Unicos comes in box of it only comes in dress box of 25, and it was originally released in 1997, which is when the Vegas Robaina marca was initially launched by Habanos, and the namesake Vegas Robaina is named after the very, very famous Cuban tobacco farmer Don Alejandro Robaina, where if you bought a box of Vegas Robaina cigars prior to 2022, his face, his likeness was actually on each of the boxes. And they actually just recently changed that. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a little bit of an uproar. They've pulled
why did
his...
they change it? I actually liked it.
You know why
It's
I
on
think
our
they did?
Classicos boxes we have.
You know why I think they did?
Guy's
This
a
is-
legend.
This is the rumor, is they're trying to create more...
He's a lizard.
They're trying... the OG lizard. They're trying to create more white space on the boxes for the various warning labels that governments impose on cigars. That's kind of the idea of... So they're just trying to create more space so that they don't cover stuff.
Why even bother to
Yeah.
accommodate any of that?
I know. Well, call Habanos. But so Don Alejandro Robaina, like I said, very famous. He's one of the most famous ever. And what's interesting about him, legend. And what's interesting about him is that out of the farmers in the Vuelta Abajo region in Cuba, each of Don Alejandro's harvests, 80% of what he harvested was deemed fit for use, compared to 35% average for every other farmer. So this guy became a legend of growing, harvesting, and producing just really high quality tobacco. And then
efficiently producing.
exactly, and then they gave him they created a marca, celebrating him.
Does he produce tobacco for other brands, or is it just his?
Yeah, he was a producer for many, many years. I mean, he died in 2009. So he was a very, in the rise of Habanos and 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, he was one of the premier farmers of Cuban
So I
tobacco.
guess on the band of the cigar, there's a year on this, 1845. Any idea what that means?
Apparently, the Robaina family, that is when they started producing tobacco in Cuba, was in the Vuelta Abajo region. They started producing tobacco in 1845. But he himself became a legend because he really revolutionized the process of planting, growing, and harvesting tobacco.
So it took from 1845 to 1997.
Wow.
Yeah, it took till 1997 till they gave him his own marca, but that's how revolutionary this guy was.
He's a perfectionist.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like we said, there's only 2 current production cigars currently being made by Robaina, by Habanos, and that's the Famosos and the Unicos. And then they had some very popular cigars that were discontinued, including the Don Alejandro, which was a double Corona, which is a stab in my heart because I wish there were more Habanos double Coronas. More, Lucy's, Gigantes, and Hoyos. I mean, there's not a ton of them out there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, boys, our favorite, the legend, the Vegas Robaina Clásicos.
The best.
The best ever.
That is the GOAT.
The Michael Jordan of
Yeah.
Cubans.
So that was an also original release. It was at Lonsdale, 42 ring gauge by 6.5, and that was discontinued in 2012. So I got to tell you, that specific cigar was the cigar that changed my whole perspective about cigars. Not even just Cuban cigars, because I had only had a few before you gave me that cigar, Rooster. You gave you introduced it to all of us. Actually, I think Puba was the one.
gave us the first one.
So he gave me the cigar. Rooster gave me the first cigar, but Puba brought it to the group. And that cigar changed my perspective on what a
Same.
great cigar is.
Same.
I mean, I'll never forget where I was, the circumstances, the temperature outside, what was on TV. It was one of those pivotal moments in my I hesitate to say the word life, but it's so foundational for my love of cigars.
How old were you guys?
12.
We didn't all have that together, did we?
No. So how that started, and this all starts with Puba. Puba had gotten not a box, but some singles of them.
Yeah.
And he came by the lounge here. It was just me and him one night. And he's like, Senator, you have to try this cigar. And at the time, I wasn't really smoking anything smaller in ring gauge than a Robusto. That was like my go-to. So this was a Lonsdale. So I'm like, okay, this is a smaller ring gauge. I had never actually had a Vegas Robaina until that point. So wasn't familiar with the brand. So I was highly skeptical going in. And Puba just kept saying, trust me, you're going to be blown away when you have this cigar. And kind of like you said, you remember exactly where you were and like everything happening. Like I was sitting right here where I am right now and right on the light. I could not believe how incredible the flavor was in that cigar. And then I was gushing about this. I think Rooster was talking to the next day. So then I think Puba had started sharing with everyone else. And I think everyone's review was unanimous. Like, we love that cigar.
Then you bought a few boxes.
So Rooster found a source for them.
Right.
We all bought a box.
Yeah.
I got one box.
I
think
have
you
a
got
box.
okay.
box.
Yeah, we all have the same date, same code.
And I got my first one from Senator.
Okay.
That's right. That night at my place on the
Dude,
deck.
I was in your seat, Gizmo.
Yep.
And I was kind of speechless for a while, but I started gushing about the cigar.
Yeah,
It was
it's
just
that good.
it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Senator said the Michael Jordan of cigars.
Yeah, very accurate.
It to me is the GOAT of cigars to me of all time. I have a box of probably 15 of them. I just ignore that I have them because I haven't pulled one out in a year and a half probably.
Same. The last time I opened it was like a year ago, giving one to Bam. I mean, it's just we can't replace them. So
No.
I'm so hesitant to pull for one now.
Yeah.
Is it really that hard to find?
They're
Can't we
gone.
They haven't made them since 2012.
They're
I
10,
know
they
that.
haven't made them in 10 years.
They've got to be somewhere in the world in some collection
Oh,
somewhere.
I'm sure there
Yeah,
is.
singles, but no one's got multiple, like
Yeah.
tons of boxes of those.
Yeah, we hit the jackpot when Rooster found that source and we all got boxes, we wiped them out and thank God we did because it's just the greatest cigar that I've ever had.
And we also got lucky with the year.
We did. It was a 2011.
That's
Right.
exactly right.
Yes.
And I know Rooster had sourced an even older box, and I thought that was very good. My
was.
preference is still the 2011.
Yeah, me too.
But man, I wish they would bring that cigar back.
Yeah, it's really, we talk about Vitolas that are kind of out of fashion, and I don't understand why Lonsdale's, Double Coronas, two of these cigars that they canceled in the 2010s. I wish they made more of them.
It's so funny, just going back to Robaina, how you were talking about, obviously they're legendary, that family, for just the amazing tobacco that they produce there. When you're in London, and I'm sure other parts of Europe, I remember one of the times I went to London, someone was telling me to stop at Souter, very famous place to have cigars in London. And he said, go to Souter and ask them for the Robaina farm roll. It's unbanded, that he, I guess, ships out to some retailers. And I was so disappointed. They were sold out. He's like, they fly off the shelf. He's like, if you were here a day or two ago, you would have got some. So I've never gotten to try these, but I've heard they're like unbelievable. They're completely unbanded.
Cool.
That's wild. I wonder, are they growing it in that region on his farms, or are his people rolling it? Like, I'm curious what the
history on
the
it is,
process is on the
Right.
farm roll. But
Isn't that one of the guys we used to buy from calls it GOD?
Yeah.
That's that stick?
I mean, who knows though?
Apparently,
Interesting.
it's a
Who
non.
knows?
It's a. I guess it's a. It's not a Lonsdale. It's a little bigger ring
It's
gauge.
a little bigger
A
than
little
that,
bigger. Yeah. Anyway, look at the burn on this.
I mean, it's a great cigar, right, guys?
right?
Yeah.
The burn
I would
line.
definitely still classify this as full. We're about 3/4 of an inch in.
I would,
medium,
but
medium.
full.
Medium.
Yeah.
I would say medium full, but what I'm just really encouraged by is it's very smooth, the delivery of all this flavor, which I've only had one or two of these before this, and one in particular I found to be really harsh and rough around the edges, and maybe it was just too young.
Yep.
What year did you say this is?
These are 21s.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're up in factory GEM September 21.
Cool.
So the draw is not like wide open. It's got a
little
little
resistance?
Yeah,
Same.
which is
Just a
which I
touch.
kind of like.
I like that.
Yeah,
I do too.
I don't like when a cigar is like really wide open.
Yeah. If it was wide open, Gus would be done by now. If it was wide open, Pagoda would be done by now.
Yeah. I think this cigar is in Pagoda's wheelhouse.
It is. It
Right.
absolutely is.
Got a
I'm
lot of
really
a lot of
enjoying it.
flavor.
Some strength for
Yeah.
sure.
So where does this rank for you and with your palate versus some of the other pyramids that we've had? The P2, the Monty 2,
I do like the P2 a lot.
Yeah.
I like the P2.
Yeah, I prefer the P2, the Monty 2. But this is
Nice dad joke, Rooster.
Yeah. Is it nap time yet?
Soon. Ben.
But this is excellent.
yeah.
I'm really enjoying it.
The flavor is very complex for me in my mouth. It's in a way that, there's a lot going on. It coats the roof of your mouth. It's got a little little spice to it or something that's kicking me around in a good way, and there's sweetness there.
I'll also say I think this is one of those few Cubans that is very New World-esque, that if you gave to someone who only smokes New World sticks, would immediately appreciate this. Like, there's no transition to have this. And like, let's say if you smoke a Millennium Pyramid regularly, I think if you light one of these up, you'd instantly be hooked.
Yeah.
I think the
I totally
flavors
agree.
are-
I think this would, go very well for a New World smoker.
There's some strength in this cigar.
There
Yes.
is.
As you're getting into it, I'd say it's medium, okay, but more full than medium.
I
me.
think medium full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to say, smell it at the burn line where it's burning.
Yeah. Smells
There's,
so good. The
there's like a
aroma.
mustiness coming off of it.
Yeah.
And it's not aged. It's not like an aged mustiness, but there's something coming off the
I think
burn
it's that
that's-
old leather smell that you get.
Has anyone had an old Unico?
Rooster has a
Yeah,
box.
I have an 08 box.
Ah, we look forward to trying this.
Yeah, same.
Of
My-
course,
my-
course you have an 08 box.
My Venmo is
At Lizard Rooster.
I
Gotta s-
use Venmo so much with you guys. Like my son's nickname is Venmo at this point.
Yeah, so like I said, Don Alejandro Robaina died in 2010. He was diagnosed with cancer in, I guess, '09. But like I said, I just think it's a sin that some of these great Vitolas have been canceled because, they were loved cigars, beloved cigars by the cigar community. And it's just unfortunate that they got rid of some of these. I wish they'd bring them back.
Do you know what type of cancer?
I don't.
That's a little scary.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject from something so grim. This Japanese whiskey is delicious.
Yeah, let's talk about it. The Akashi
Very,
White Oak.
Very drinkable.
I got to say the bottle was surprising to me when I picked it up.
Yeah.
It's not a traditional whiskey bottle that I would know.
Yeah, it looks like a Hendrix
It does.
gin bottle.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's got a really cheap screw top on it. It's like an aluminum screw top that if you turned it upside down, I think would fall right off.
How much was that?
It was $70. Now, I was told by Senator that price is quite high.
Extremely high. So Astor Wine in the city, very famous wine shop, they have it for 50, and in Manhattan, everything is more than what we pay out here
That's
for alcohol.
ridiculous.
So you could even find it cheaper than 50 at other places. I don't know how Total Wine. I honestly think that Total Wine made a mistake on the pricing.
Probably.
Well, your boy Gizmo took care of it.
Astor
Well
is a
done.
big place, right? Astor?
Well
Huge, great
They're
wine shop.
Huge wine merchant.
Yeah.
A lot of online and
Yeah, and they got a
So-
huge store.
yeah.
Yeah, downtown.
Yep.
This is a really good cigar. I'm enjoying the whiskey as well.
Me too.
What do you think of it?
Great pairing.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a nice pairing.
It kind of reminds me of one of the scotches that we did on the nose.
The flavor notes in this should be more single malt Scotch like,
So it's
than
not a
other
scotch,
Japanese
it's a whiskey.
whiskey.
It's not
Yeah.
a scotch.
but the notes are more similar to
Scotch-like.
an actual single malt Scotch. I can talk a little bit about what's actually in the glass.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about it.
So just quickly on the distillery, White Oak was established in 1888. It's the oldest distillery in Japan, which I was surprised about because I feel like Suntory is known as like the distillery in Japan, but these guys are even older.
What was the year? I'm sorry, I missed it.
1888.
Wow.
And they were the first distillery in 1919, 4 years before Suntory, to obtain a license to make whiskey. They were initially sake brewers and didn't make whiskey until 40 years into when they were established. And so what we're drinking, the Akashi, is sort of their introductory expression. And it's a blend of 70% corn grain and 30% malted barley. It's slightly peated, which is why I think you get some of the more single malt Scotch type notes from the peat that's here.
What's interesting though, I wouldn't have called out Pete had
not at
you-
all.
Yeah, had you not said that, I would
Same
never
here.
have called that out.
Same here.
And then it's aged for at least 3 years in ex-bourbon barrels and finished in sherry casks, which we obviously all love. So I've seen it on just a number of lists as like a good introductory Japanese blended whiskey. And it's not bad. The one thing I will say I immediately noticed that I didn't expect and I'm not happy about, it's very light, not in body and taste. Literally the consistency of the liquid, it's really, really light.
We may need to try it neat without ice
Yeah, that's
to get
true.
the true essence of it, maybe.
That's true.
But that's kind of typical of Japanese whiskeys, right?
Oh, I
Except
thought
that one
but
that we had. that you
the
guys had.
Nikka coffee still we had
That
it was viscous.
Viscosity, yeah.
Even the Hibiki has some viscosity, but this is really just thin. It's not got much
Right.
viscosity or body to it.
I'm looking at it in your glass. It looks like a glass of water.
Right.
The way it's moving around in your cup.
Right.
Yeah.
I
But
feel like
I enjoy it though.
I feel like
It's
the
enjoyable.
scotch that this is reminding me of, and you may say I'm crazy. I know you're like a Somm in your taste, your palate, but like almost like a Dalmore 12. It's something like on the nose. I'm getting a little Dalmore on the nose.
That is not a bad comparison
Yeah.
at all.
That's the one I'm thinking of. The
I get,
Dalmore
sweet-
12.
I get sweetness on the nose a little bit.
And we did that about, I don't know, 5-10 episodes back, but
Yeah.
I remember that one. I think I like the Suntory better than this.
The Hibiki, you mean?
No, the Suntory.
The Suntory.
Yeah.
That was the affordable. It's like 35,
Yeah.
40
Yeah.
a bottle.
Yeah, I definitely think I like that better than this, but maybe without ice, in a second pour.
Sure.
We should try that and see if it
Yep.
if it changes at all.
Are you guys getting a bit of harshness in the back? Like,
So before the
Harshness.
ice melted,
yeah.
Yeah.
I did, and now that the ice is melted, it's smoothed out. So
It's
I
smoothed out,
definitely think that this is probably something to have on the rocks. But we'll see when we try a little bit neat, maybe in a
Sure.
little bit.
So I got to say, about what, an inch and a half into the Unicos here,
Beautiful, beautiful bright white ash.
I am really enjoying this cigar.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was a little hesitant coming in here today because the ones I've had in the past, including the one I had out of this box, like right off the truck, I was not very impressed with. So I was curious, like, how's this going to do tonight for us? And it's definitely overperforming my expectations coming in here tonight.
Same here. I've never bought these because the one or two I've had in the past, I did not enjoy. I just found it to be very rough around the edges, and just the flavors hadn't really married together in a way that I would have hoped. But this is
Sure.
really, really good.
It's good. I liked it better at the first light, the first half inch, than I do now. It's still very nice. So I've got some anticipation here as I go through it.
One aspect that I'm enjoying of this smoke is after I take the draw and when I slowly push the smoke out of my mouth, I like how that's tasting on the tip of my tongue as it kind of like finally makes its exit out of my mouth.
That's a
it's
great
really
point.
delicious.
Honestly, every cigar I have, I make it a point to draw the smoke across right at the tip. That's where I get a lot of my flavor.
Yeah.
Tip of the tongue.
Yeah, try also retrohaling.
Oh, yeah.
You get a lot of flavor.
I also, at this point in the cigar, now it tastes very Monty 2-like to me.
Mm.
When it started, I thought the flavors were much richer and deeper than that, and they were. But for some reason,
I can
right
see that.
now,
Yeah.
I could literally feel like I'm smoking a Monty
Similar
2.
to what I just said. Yeah.
It's mellowed
On the
a-
light,
mellowed
it
a
was,
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High flavor and it's mellowing.
But let's
yeah.
dial down into that. Are you, what aspect of the Monty 2 are you like really pointing to? I don't think it's the twang, right? Is it more like
No,
the
but the
chocolatey
rest,
thing?
but it's a little the twang because I'm getting now saltiness in this.
Okay, see, I'm not getting that yet.
Is anyone else getting a
bit.
like saltiness?
Yeah, a
bit,
little,
yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, and that reminds me of like that twang in the Monty 2. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
I get a little bit of dried fruit or maybe some raisin, like
A
a
hint of it. Yeah.
hint of,
Agreed.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's my first Unico, by the way.
Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
really?
Yep. Never had it before.
The aroma out of the smoke
That's great.
is intense.
Yeah.
It's like really, really nice.
And the smoke output on this thing is very good too. I'm kind of surprised by how much smoke it's putting out.
Absolutely.
The construction on this. I mean, look at Rooster's ash right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we love Cubans. I don't think the ash holds on Cubans the way that it does on some of the New Worlds that we smoke, but this is unbelievable. I mean, if this were almost any other Cuban torpedo, this would be all over
It'd be
your
all
pants
over.
right now.
I think
Yeah.
Gizmo's got a great one.
I think that was a
Going.
hint to ash.
Yes. We don't want to call Garcon.
Put very diplomatically by Senator. You better ash that fucking stick.
Let's see how. But look at that.
I'm tapping it
the
and it's not
structure-
Yeah, it
showing
won't
up.
come off.
The structure is very
I
good.
mean, it's like I can go a little longer.
Yeah, you can. Now that you've tapped it, we don't know.
Yeah, you may loosen
That's
it
a,
up.
that's a slight fracture.
just hold it right over your shirt.
Yes, just ash on your lap.
Good thing the carpet is gray.
I'm getting a little bit of the saltiness now. Definitely
It's
coming
very
in now.
Monty 2-like,
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
very
like.
cool.
But
It's
I've,
very,
I've
very
got a
cool.
question though.
Yeah.
For $20, is it worth the purchase for $20?
I mean, to me, the jury's still out, right? We're-
Yeah. Still okay.
I think I think having had these before, seeing how this one's performing, to have a box or, let's say after tonight, 15 of these cigars, 20 of these cigars in my humidor and kind of tasting one every 90 days.
That's
and,
cool.
as they age out, like I'm not going to reach for this once a week. I do think though, having this one box that I have, I'll be very happy I do, but I don't think I'm going to accumulate like I do P2s or,
Right.
or Upman 2s
Right.
or Monty 2s. I mean,
Right.
I have a problem
Yeah.
with
Kind of
Monty
with
2s
you
right
there.
now.
I'm with you there.
I mean, after having this tonight, I kind of want to revisit the older box that I have and see just a comparison as to what that
So
would
do
look
we.
like. Yeah,
For everything I've been reading, they say that these age really well.
yeah.
So
It seems like that's a pretty common thing. I mean, given our experience with several, thanks to Rooster and Puba, several of the Vegas Robainas, it seems like they age. This marca really ages well.
I mean, one thing I also just noticed with this, the wrapper is very thick.
It is.
Yep.
It has a kind of.
It's a
You
bit
know that
rustic.
box of Carniers that I got
Yeah.
that the wrapper is like real thick.
Shockingly
Yeah.
thick, yeah.
It's kind of close to that.
Yeah.
What? Is this made in Nicaragua? No.
It's Padron. Padron makes this.
But definitely one of the better Cubans I've really, really enjoyed.
I feel like this is definitely as close to your wheelhouse
Yeah.
as we can get. Maybe other than like our first episode, the Maduro one.
Thank you.
That that is
Yes.
like classic Pagoda for me.
It's a big,
As far as
that's
flavor,
got a
but-
punch. Yeah.
And P2 as well.
Those have disappeared.
Dude, I have,
Don't
I,
see those
I
anymore.
have 3 left.
Boxes?
Yeah. No.
I mean, since you got your tower now, let's talk
Oh,
about that.
Yeah, and it's nice.
How
and
happy
empty.
are you?
How's the tower?
I'm very fucking unhappy right now.
Is it still in the garage?
It's still in the garage. I have no enthusiasm to season that thing. Not yet.
Why?
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 I
All you
don't
have to
know.
do. Okay. Jesus.
No,
Christ.
no, no. Listen.
Here we go.
Let's get into this.
After
Here we
8
go.
months of this shit,
I've got huge bins of boxes of cigars. Now, my anticipation when I first ordered this thing, it was at a 10. It took 8 months to get to me. I'm at like a 3 now.
Why? But it's here now.
All right. So let
It
me,
is,
let
it
me
is.
just clarify for
It's
you.
kind of like dating. Like you dated this chick for like 8
Yeah,
years.
she's
and
an old
now-
hag now.
And now you don't. So you're like me with women.
That's a joke.
They should,
That's a joke.
it should be like a lease, 3 years, buyback option.
That's true. That's true.
Too much mileage. No thanks.
So here's the thing.
Give it back.
So I will be seasoning that thing this weekend. I made a promise to myself to get that.
The beauty of it, the seasoning process is so simple.
know.
All you have to do is just
know.
like wipe it down with a sponge and
I know.
still water.
A little salt and
just
pepper.
Put the Oasis in there with the still
Yes.
water. That's it.
Little
That's all you
paprika.
got to do.
I've got to uncard it, get it downstairs. That's an effort, and then I'll start to do that. It'll happen.
and then now,
Then it'll be
Now
2025.
Now that I'm paying $1,000 a box for cigars,
Yeah.
my inventory is going to stay where it is for a while.
Yeah, but you said you have them in a bin, in a
I have
Tupperware.
Yeah,
You
so
have
I-
boxes there already.
Yeah,
So
I
don't
have-
you want to get them out and put
I
them
do.
nicely
get a
displayed?
little
do.
air movement.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
want to look at them?
I
mean,
do.
it's
I'm
just-
dying to look at them. Yes.
I think Bam Bam, this is embarrassing.
Here's my question for you, and I know that I'm a little superstitious with it, but I feel like the moment you got your tower,
Well,
the prices went
Right.
through the roof.
Yeah.
exactly.
That was my immediate reaction. As soon as that happened, I was like, he cursed us.
You cursed us
I'm going to fill that tower with Philly blunts and be very proud.
and cigarettes. I mean, man, it was looking like a lot of the markers were going to be 7-10%, and then you see the price in the RAS, Epi 2s,
Oh,
Monty
ridiculous.
2s. I mean, RAS went from for a 50 cab, because we eat those things like M&Ms.
Yeah.
It went from like 560, 580 for a 50 cab. They're 720 now. In a matter of 3 days.
Look, I have few regrets in life,
Yeah.
but not getting a second tower is easily one of my top regrets.
Sure.
It's just like the cost of anything in life only goes up. And if you know that you're going to be enjoying something for a while, especially cigars that only get better with age, there's no expiration date on these things.
Yeah.
I wish when prices were much better a few years ago, we would have just
loaded up.
stocked up like
But I
crazy.
even
That's
feel,
right.
I mean,
That's right.
with the buying spree that I and we have been on, and I kind of buy, a lot of stuff for all of us. I'm glad that even prior to the last couple of weeks with the prices going up, like I have 15, 20 boxes on the way that now I could resell them for 20, 30% profit, which I would never do.
No.
But they're that much more expensive today than they were 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's insane.
Why don't you lease Bam Bam's tower?
I might.
$1,000 a foot.
I mean, the price increase. I mean, had we had the tower, it would have actually paid for the tower.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like
Because when we
we
all
would have
first
bought
got
more
towers,
boxes.
let's think about this. When we all first bought towers, and
Yeah.
obviously I was one of the earliest, I, no exaggeration, within 3 months of me getting the tower and ordering a ridiculous number of boxes, I paid for the tower
yeah, you
because I was buying in bulk
Yep.
at insanely lower rates than you would get at any retail shop or anywhere else. And I already got my money back.
Sure.
To your point,
That's right.
now forget getting your money back. I mean, you'd make your money hand over fist.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
And I did the same, when I got my tower last summer, if you remember, within 3-4 months, it was completely full, and I was back into Tupperware. And obviously I'm smoking a lot more Cubans now, but it's also like I'm glad that I have 4 or 5 boxes of D4s, 4 or 5 boxes of Monty 2s, because now to replace them, it's arguably cost prohibitive.
Yeah, and what's funny is, when I'm not with our group here and I'm with townies, they are constantly asking me, "Are you only smoking Cubans?" Because I never bring out New World with me anymore. I'm always reaching for Cubans.
Yeah,
It's
I would
become
say
a habit.
I would say my consumption is at least 3 or 4 to 1.
Yeah, me too.
Cuban to New World.
Me too.
I mean, if we have I was with Senator yesterday, and thankfully he gave me 2 because I didn't bring enough because I wasn't planning on it. But I had 3 or 4 Cubans, and I think I had 4 Cubans, 2 New Worlds yesterday, right? There's 4 and 1 or 3 and 2. I had 5 sticks, or 6 sticks.
Something
but anyway,
like
I smoke way more Cubans than I do the New World. But the thing that I must say is, even at, let's say, a Vegas Robaina Unico that we're smoking now at $20, it's still kind of reasonably priced versus a lot of the New Worlds that we kind of reach for.
That's true.
Davidoffs are not cheap.
Nope.
Padrones are certainly creeping up there too.
Yep.
So, everything's going up, I guess. But
The only thing
Kinda
is
sucks.
availability, right? Like,
yes,
I think,
that's the problem. And the weight. You go online, you
Yeah.
buy a box of Padrones, you have them in 2 days. You go online, you buy a box of Cubans from a good source
In Australia.
in Australia, and it takes 40 days.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we're seeing too, and I don't know if we've really talked about this as a group, but I think the gray market vendors are really in trouble here. A lot of these guys just don't have stock. They are compensating for that with the stuff they have. Their prices are just
Through the
absurd.
roof. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're buying direct through a Habanos retailer, but it's gonna become cost prohibitive, especially on the secondary market. Trying to get Cubans.
Well,
it's just really
do you
expensive.
think there's a point where the consumer just kind of stops smoking a lot of these Cuban brands because they're going to be, it's going to be they're going to outprice them?
I've seen a lot of stuff on the forums on Reddit where guys are saying I'm done with Cubans, and I don't know if a lot of it's hyperbole, or I don't know if I believe them per se, but I don't think you're wrong. But I don't think anything's going to change until they're able to catch up
especially
with production.
Cohibas and Trinidad's.
Yeah,
For
that's just
sure.
obscene.
That's like they're
Well,
ridiculous.
wouldn't a reduction in demand decrease prices over time?
Eventually
But they still have such a backlog of
Yeah.
orders.
production and orders,
I see.
and they have
I see.
a supply issue. That's their problem. Is it's not even in any way. So that's what I think Habanos is playing, a short game, not a long game with pricing, saying we're not able to keep up anyway, so we might as well raise the price, and we're still going to sell the same amount of cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, right? Like, even if, and I do believe that you will see I shouldn't say far, you will see fewer consumers purchase Cubans as a result of these price increases, right? Like
Yes.
this hobby requires disposable income.
Yep.
And you look at some of the prices now, there are absolutely guys that are going to sit there and say, I used to be able to buy this cigar for $12, $13, and now you want me to pay $20, $22 a stick. I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there are alternatives that they're going to find to fulfill
Sure.
that.
Sure.
So I think that will happen. But the problem is, right, for the retailer, well, are they going to be able to move sticks? They are, because all they have to do, I mean, you think about demand got so bad. I remember years ago, there were not quantity restrictions on
Never.
boxes on
Never.
the websites that we ordered from.
Dude.
They
Yep.
didn't exist. That only happened within the last year or two.
During the
That
pandemic.
now
Yep.
most
Yeah.
of them, it's like limit 2 boxes of one kind of cigar per customer. Some even limit 1. So if there were demand issues, all they have to do is remove that, and every box they have is going to Hong Kong or some market with people who are just going to spend outrageous sums of money on these and could care less.
That's
So
true.
that's why, sadly, I think no matter what, prices will not go back down.
I agree, and I think to Rooster's point, especially with Cohiba and Trinidad, that's all going to go right to Hong Kong. I mean, because they're willing to pay it. I mean, I saw a box of Siglo 6 yesterday came up at one of my favorite retailers out of Australia. The price on the box for 25 cigars, guys, was $1,800
Oh my gosh.
for a cigar that was made 4 months ago.
Wow. Wow.
Siglo 6, not a Bahique, not a regional, not a limited, not a, some kind of crazy age thing. A Siglo 6 made 4 months ago was $1,800 for a box of 25 cigars. And that's not on the gray market.
Yeah.
But
That's going to be $2,200 to $2,500 there.
But how many people can afford that?
Well, that's the problem. but they don't make enough of them, so I don't think they care. The thing, to Senator's point, that I find interesting, and he mentioned this in a prior episode on the pod here, was what I think the cost is going to do is it's going to prohibit new people from entering the market.
Oh yeah.
100%. Because let's just think about when all of us told a friend about our love for Cuban cigars and they were curious and figuring out, I think the perception, at least my experience has been, most friends will say, oh, well, those are really expensive, right? And I'd say, no, they're actually the same, if not cheaper, than most of the New World cigars that you would go out there and buy.
Exactly.
So for them, that became a very easy entry point. They're like, wow, I can get this for $12. Sure, I'll try a box of D4s.
A D4 for $15.
Yeah, D4 Epi 2s. I mean, very reasonable.
Yeah.
Ras, I mean, I remember we were getting Ras for $8 or $10.
Crazy.
Yep.
And that was a third, like, you know, it had touched 3 hands by the time it got to us.
Crazy.
We were the 4th.
We were getting boxes of Ras, 50 caps for like $5.25.
Yeah. Yeah. And and 2 years ago, they were probably 400.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, so it is an interesting thing in the long game, like a senator said a few episodes ago, because I thought about what you said. And it's like, okay, 5-10 years from now, are there going to be guys really excited about jumping into Cuban cigars when the cost to do it is so prohibitive that they're not going to be willing to make that jump into that flavor profile, even if it suits them or is arguably better in some ways? I just don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a challenge there. So,
How are you feeling halfway through this?
I love it.
Yeah?
I really like it. You don't?
You sound skeptical.
Yeah, you sound skeptical.
A little bit. I'm getting a little, just a hint of ammonia. Maybe I'm smoking too fast.
Try blow through it.
Yeah, push it out.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a touch of ammonia.
I haven't gotten ammonia, but I'm getting more leather that Giz was talking about now when
That's
you're in
true.
the second half.
Yeah.
And it's a leather that I enjoy.
Same.
Yeah, it's
kind of like an old leather chair that, you know, has that weird leather smell.
Have you
Like a
tasted
old-
an old leather
Not
chair?
not tasted, but
smoking
like
those now.
like a smell. You know, like a worn out leather chair.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Rooster and Grinder had a leather tasting.
No, I think it's very good right now. Pagoda, what do you think of it?
I'm really enjoying it. I don't get any of that leather. It's a little bit of, I don't know, for me, maybe because I'm drinking the whiskey alone. It's just working really well. I'm really enjoying myself.
I think the whiskey's okay. I don't think it's great,
Nope.
especially for the price point. Even if I got it for 50, I still think I would feel the same about it. If
I
it was
agree.
30, I think I'd be a little bit less on the fence, but I don't think it's great at 50 or 70.
I completely agree. And the reason why this just doesn't meet my expectation is because the flavor notes in this whiskey are reminiscent of some of the traditional flavor notes that you would get in a scotch, which I'm predisposed to like very much. But the problem is it's so light. And because of that, like there is that little bit of harshness. It doesn't bring everything together in a way that's all that enjoyable. So
Yeah. We noted on the finish, there's a bit of a bite.
Yeah, by the harshness.
Yeah. Up front, it's nice still.
And even in the middle, when if you roll it around in the middle of your palate, it's not bad. And maybe that's the sherry, you know.
Yeah.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
And the last thing why I'm saying that the body of this is really disappointing, because Suntory that we were talking about, the Toki, that's only $35, $40 a bottle. That's also light like this is, but the flavor
was delicious.
matches
Delicious.
a light whiskey.
Yeah.
It's floral.
Yep.
It's like a perfect summer whiskey,
Mhm.
where this has more of those winter, fall whiskey notes that we would expect in a scotch, but then is as thin and light and just lacks body in the way that some of those others do.
I don't think I'm loving the pairing of this specific whiskey with this cigar.
I would say this actually. I don't think the pairing is a problem.
I don't think it's bad, but it's not like I don't think they're made for each other in ways that I think in the past we've kind of.
What would you prefer with this? A bourbon?
No, I would probably very rarely say a bourbon just because of I'm not a bourbon guy.
I've read-
Puba and Grinder are.
Yeah.
I'm more like, to me, I really would love a Macallan with this.
Well, that-
I was just
okay,
Or a,
gonna say
or a
that.
Balvenie.
I agree.
Or
I
Belvedere,
think
yeah.
a traditional single malt, but
Yes.
that's why I'm saying I don't have a problem with this pairing. The notes in this are
They're close.
similar to a traditional single malt.
Yeah.
So I actually think it does pair well. I
Yep.
just think it lacks body to keep up with the body that this cigar has.
That's great- I
He
think
said it
that's
way
very
better.
accurate.
He said it way better than I did.
That's accurate.
No
As
doubt
always.
about it. Thanks, Pagoda. Yeah, this is really delicious. So, anyways, Bam, thanks for the jinx on the pricing,
Yeah, you're welcome.
and good luck filling up your tower.
I'm spending all the money I have. I'm not going to let that stop me. I need to fill that fucking tower.
Look, Philly blunts are great too. We
they
won't
are
judge.
blueberry,
Yeah.
blueberry.
Blueberry. Yes.
Yeah, they come in flavors.
They do.
Did you hear about this? That they were there's something which is going on about cigars where they want to ban the flavored cigars,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly have no problem with this, but the FDA wants to crack down on what they view as, kids being turned on to any sort of tobacco product, which I'm fine with.
I am too.
Because I don't think a kid's going to reach for a Vegas Robaina Unico,
Oh no.
sourcing D4s.
Yeah,
But
I think there's a problem with it though, because I'm pretty sure the Premium Cigar Association (PCA), who's the trade for all the brands we smoke,
they're against it.
they're against it because there's something in it that is very broad and vague that could impact stuff we would smoke.
Really?
It's
Oh, I didn't know
not
that.
very clear. It's not narrowly defined.
How that would impact
Yeah.
the cigars that we like. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, with that detail, I'm against it. But inherently, I don't care if they ban,
Right.
infused cigars. I mean, I don't think they really have a place in the premium cigar discussion, even if they are hand rolled. I don't think they're not in this universe for me.
Yeah.
Agree.
And we had a long discussion
yeah.
a few episodes back about that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this cigar. I'm glad I got them, and I'm glad that we're trying this tonight. I do think that with time and dry boxing them, keeping them out of the humidor for a day, just trying to make the humidity a little bit more reasonable has certainly helped, because the burn is very, very good on
Yeah.
these.
What did help is blowing through.
Yeah.
Which I've never done on a cigar. I don't do that very often. That
So-
helped a lot.
So typically, when the cigar is kind of fresh,
You'll get that.
if you get the ammonia, just blow
just
out
purge
of it a couple of times.
It's good technique.
So that works. Has the cigar picked up in strength for you, or is it about the same?
A bit. I think it's pretty smooth.
For me, it's actually held roughly the same strength all the way through.
Me too.
The only thing flavor-wise that's very different for me is the first half was sweeter, and the second half is a lot more leather and just drier flavor notes.
I'm getting more
Woodier.
earthy notes for me
yeah.
in
And
the
I
second half.
And I think
Yeah.
that's actually a satisfying progression
Progression.
in the cigar for me. If it was the other way around, I think I'm glad it started sweet and kind of is
Sure.
working its way.
Sure.
I kind of like a cigar that's elegant, I mentioned the Sir Winston. That's a very leathery type of cigar, and when I have that cigar, I love the progression and the intensity of that leather
Yep.
flavor.
What year is your Sir Winston? Because you have been saying leather and Sir Winston
2014.
a lot recently.
2014.
Okay, maybe with age that happens, because I
Yeah.
had a younger, not a young, but a younger than that Sir Winston from Puba, and it was just pure dessert.
My 2013 and 2014s were very. There was that Upman classic Upman sweetness there, but the leather note was the one that really hit
So
me good.
weird. I got tons of shortbread out of that. I mean, you've had Winston's?
Yeah. So Sir Winston's, to me, they have to sit for a while. I mean, 2019, 2020s,
Yeah,
I
they're
won't
too
even
young.
touch them.
Yeah.
They got to sit for at least 5 years.
Oof. Wow.
Well, to
I
get
mean,
the
I'm
leather-
talking this is 22, so 17,
Well, that's my favorite
Seven.
vintage, 2022s. Ladies and gentlemen, that's an inside joke.
Yeah, I always get, I had a 13 on my birthday, the Sir Winston, and it had that shortbread sweetness, but the leather was really the thing that I was like,
Interesting.
that really satisfied me.
I remember that day. I remember seeing those pictures, and we were all wondering, like, what is going on?
Oh yeah, I went for
Oh,
it.
it was a
Have we,
secret.
have we
It was
told
a-
this story?
No,
no,
we
we
haven't.
haven't. We need to
Okay.
talk.
I'll
for it.
have to start because I was there for most of it, and I feel the most.
I just
guilty
saw
of
the
everybody.
pictures.
Honestly, I thought you were going to get up and leave
I
wherever
could
you
not-
were.
I was so just like deflated.
Why?
So just imagine this for the listener. Imagine you're sitting at a cigar lounge with a very good friend of yours. He's lighting up all these ridiculous, like fantastic cigars. You're sitting there like, wow, he's really going hard today.
All right,
Like,
let's list what I did.
Yeah.
There's like $200 in
which
like,
which he
you know,
normally doesn't do.
No.
right?
No.
You don't see him smoking like a like a Lusitania.
Incredible
Again,
selection that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It
a
really was.
Lucy. I did a Kentucky, the regional from El Rey del Mundo, right?
Although that one didn't go
Lost
so
That
well.
didn't go too good.
Los Andes.
And then I did
Sir Winston
a Sir Winston
and an 898.
and an 898,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I think I did
like
an
a
80th.
vintage 898.
Yeah, a 2002 898, 20 years old, and I did an 80th from Padron.
So like I'm sitting there, I'm just like, wow, like he's
Like
really,
either he just sold his business and he got like gobs and gobs of money, you know.
And gobs of cigars.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like literally in my head, that was option one, and option two is like I'm like, oh my god, he's dying. Like this is this is it. Like this is the last,
Wow.
you know, smoke.
Wow.
So I'm just sitting there so confused, and I'm like, wow, like you know, such a selection. He's just like, yeah, I just wanted some good cigars. He's playing it perfectly cool. Like this is just a normal day in the neighborhood, and I get up and leave.
You left, and I came.
Then Bam comes.
Yeah.
I'm home. I forget what I was doing after that. And I see this message that Bam finally figured out that it was his fucking birthday.
It was-
and he had me sit there with him the entire time.
Honestly,
and
it was
couldn't
like a-
just say it's my birthday so I could properly toast with him.
I'm good.
I couldn't believe it.
I had to draw it out of him like it was a dental procedure.
My gosh.
Okay.
I mean, there would have been a champagne bottle with a saber.
Right.
Of course,
I would have
you
brought
know?
it to the lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
A few other things.
I'm good. To me, it was a perfect day. Some great cigars with friends. That's how I roll.
I love how low key you are.
I'm not a birthday guy.
I love
it's not. I don't have it on Facebook. Like my wife and maybe two of my closest friends remember. My mother, of course. My dad barely remembers. You know, that's it.
Okay. I'm going to call bullshit right away.
Why?
Uh-oh.
You know why? Because no one knows people's birthdays more than you do.
No, I
That's
know.
true.
No, no,
He's got a fucking calendar completely
No,
full
no,
of
I do.
every person he ever
I
meets
do.
their birthday.
I do. I have everybody's birthday on my phone. Not for any other. It's not like a game to me.
But that's nice.
Yeah, but I like
No,
to.
but he's making it sound like birthdays are not that big.
no,
a thing.
no, no. I'm
But
saying my birthday.
His own birthday.
My birthday's not a big deal. Your birthday, the other guys, you know,
he's right. That's fair.
I'm very
his
into it.
birthday's not as.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really mean.
Which is true. I don't care about it. I don't care. I don't like the attention. I don't want 1,000 Facebook messages, and I just would rather have some great cigars.
We're going
and
to
go.
throw you a surprise
Yeah.
party next
Oh,
year.
Next,
now.
next year, it's going to
Oh,
be
no.
at one of those Japanese restaurants with the hibachi.
Yeah, throwing shrimp in my mouth.
It's going to be in Bayonne,
Yeah.
As you're chugging Suntory.
Yes, exactly.
eating chicken Savoy.
Volcano with the onion thing. You know how they do that?
Yeah, with the oil.
With,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
with the rings of onion
Yeah.
to make a little volcano. Gonna come out happy
Throwing shrimp in my-
birthday to you.
Yeah, they're gonna be throwing shrimp tails in his hoodie.
No, he's gonna wear a button-down shirt that day.
Oh, the button downs. You guys do have me on the button downs, by the way. I'm full on button down when I go to dinner now.
Nice.
Totally
All right, so
refined.
here's our problem with the button down. I'm not sure that we've collectively shared this feedback that we need to with you. The all black like nightclub button down does not qualify for dinners.
Agreed. Agreed.
If you're going clubbing, by all means.
Yeah.
You know I don't do that.
I know. So that's why I'm saying you gotta.
Why is that bad for dinner? What's the problem?
Lighter in color.
Because you don't need to wear black all the time.
Yeah. A lighter colored cigar.
That's such a
shirt.
New York thing.
For the
Kind of, it
summer.
does denote a bit of formality. It's for dinner. It's a bit.
It's
more
all
rec-
good.
It's
It's
more
all
it's,
good.
recommended.
it's a
Yes.
more elegant look.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
here's an example, right? London is one of the best dressed cities in the world, right? Every person on the street that's wearing a suit has like a custom fucking tailored suit. You will not see a male in London wearing a black dress shirt almost anywhere. And I'm not saying that it's categorically bad. But what I'm saying is, if you just want to have a little more elegance at a meal, just go with a little lighter shirt.
Listen, we need to do a lizard shopping trip because
We
here
do.
I'm thinking, oh, I put a button down on. I'm gonna really impress the boys.
It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade.
I'm gonna really impress the boys.
It's an upgrade.
We're always pushing you to reach new heights.
We have to take him to Untuck It.
Oh,
There we
well,
go. Okay.
That's my shirt.
That's your next destination.
That is
All
my
right,
shirt.
you're gonna help me shop on Untuck It.
Yeah.
All right.
Quite easy.
You're gonna like everything you buy. I guarantee it.
You're going to love what you find, and you will find what you love.
But you got to untuck it.
Untuck It. I don't tuck anything in.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Please tell me if you're wearing a suit, you tuck your.
Oh no,
shirt.
I mean, listen.
Of course.
Yeah.
The only
With
exception.
Gizmo, I have to ask.
The only, the only exception for any of this is a funeral or a wedding. That's the exception.
You could wear black.
I have a white shirt that I wear with a nice black
Okay,
suit.
good.
You know.
Yeah, not a black
tailored.
shirt.
No, never a black shirt to
All right, good.
a
But you know,
funeral,
you know what's weird? If you go to an Indian funeral, you wear
It's all
white.
white.
including the suit.
Yeah, I mean they just wear like traditional, kurta. It's
Kurta
called
pajama.
kurta pajama, but it's
Yeah.
white because white is calming. White is kind of holy, if you could say that. It's like
It's clean.
black is kind of like more, on the downside, I guess. So
Forbidden.
It's a funeral. It's white. It's peaceful. It's calm.
It's interesting here in the States or in the West that black to a funeral is kind of what is expected. It's
Well,
like,
here,
Yeah, it's meant to
interesting
symbolize
how
you're,
different it is.
you're in mourning.
you're
Yeah,
in mourning,
yeah.
right?
Where like white
right.
is meant to be more celebratory.
Well,
wedding.
in the Spanish culture, the women, if their husband dies or there's a death in the family, they don't wear bright colors for 1 year.
Wow.
They wear dark colors, so they it's like browns and blacks and like a lot of
Really?
subdued colors, like nothing bright. They would never wear orange or green or like something really bright. It's
Wow.
awesome.
This would be very useful for single lizards. You like immediately know.
No,
like,
being that I'm in
she's
the
available.
in Spain.
no, being that I'm in the garment business, so I noticed that because
is
they come
really
in and ask
interesting.
for that. Yeah,
That's really interesting.
it's different.
And you
Every
said
culture
that's
has-
Spanish culture?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I just learned something, guys. I learned something.
I did
I
too.
didn't know
I
that.
learned a couple things. I can't wear a black shirt anymore, which I thought I was doing great.
Sometimes you can wear that. Sometimes, but
Sometimes.
Oh, jeez.
Like,
do you own a
if you're
checker
going
like
to karaoke night at Turmeric.
that's a classic, by the way.
That's a
got-
party for sure.
We need to revisit that.
Yep. All right, boys. We're
I'm
coming
not
into
driving
the-
there anymore, by the way.
Good.
How's the car holding up?
Yeah, what's the
please.
estimate on the car damage?
It's falling apart.
Oh boy.
What's it? Just like a few hundred damage, right?
Yeah, $7,000.
Add a zero.
How's Mrs. Pagoda feeling about that?
She loves me even more.
Oh,
How's your tower feeling about that?
Yeah.
she smashed it.
Pagoda needs a car with no pedals.
No,
That would be ideal.
I need a Tesla, self-driving Tesla. That's,
You need
you
a
go.
bumper car. That's what you need.
You need a you need a chauffeur.
I
That's
need
what
a
you
chauffeur.
You
Yeah,
need
I
a
think Uber does a great
Yeah,
job.
a garçon driving cars.
I would love that. So we're coming to the last third here, boys, of the Vegas Robaina Unico. What are you guys thinking? I'm really enjoying this thing.
I'm very impressed. I honestly thought I was going to be disappointed. And the thing that makes me happiest about this cigar, obviously the flavor profile is great. I just love that the delivery of all that flavor has been smooth.
That's
I'm
right.
not getting any, harshness from the cigar. And that's what I look for in a really flavorful cigar, like a Padron, like a
Yeah.
Monty 2, like
Yeah.
this. I'm very pleased.
So remember, like I said, like when we first lit the cigar, the flavor that we were getting on the first third, even before that, like right on the light,
Yeah.
that flavor is what I was looking for throughout.
We pursue that flavor.
Right.
Which is the more dessert-like part of
Dessert-
it.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that too.
yeah, like a lot of
Yeah.
that coffee notes that
Sure.
we were getting.
I'm getting a deep espresso and
Yeah, it's
earth.
getting-
There's,
It's-
there's different
It's
coffee.
getting a little warm now.
Yeah, I like
a
it.
little hot.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a strange comparison because it's a New World comparison, but honestly, the second half of this with like the leather and some of the other flavor notes that you both were describing, It honestly reminds me a bit of a late hour.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's take another puff.
That's interesting. But in the late hour, you get a lot more of the chocolate, and this I'm getting a lot more of the coffee, a little bit of the
Yeah.
bitterish coffee.
I am getting. I like this a little bit better than the late hour. The late hour for me is a bit minerally at this point. It's good, but it's not as smooth as this in my
So
opinion.
we're talking about the Sir Winston late hour, right?
Oh, that's yes.
Is
So
is it?
Yeah, it's well above my pay
No,
grade.
no, no. I'm sorry. I meant the Davidoff Sir Winston.
Turn off his mic.
Can you guys pass the whiskey over to me, please?
Yes,
I want to try it neat.
I'm having it
Yeah, it's
neat now.
How so? Talk to me.
Is
How
it
is it
better?
neat for
Let
you?
me pour a bit.
Well, it's different. It's going to affect the rating for sure for me.
In a good way or bad way?
Interesting.
It's definitely got bite right off the bat, and
Really?
the flavors are definitely more pronounced. Not as sweet as it is with a chip of ice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, Senator, I'm definitely getting more of the Monty 2 thing right now. Like in the saltiness, I wouldn't call it twang per se.
No, I wouldn't use that term explicitly, but there are components of that are present here.
Yeah, it's got a saltiness to it, almost more like a table salt than a what I know as a Cuban twang from
Yeah,
the Monty
yeah,
2. But it's really nice. I like it. And I think that this is a great cigar. We always talk about where I would put this. If I was going to have a nice steak dinner or something, I would absolutely, this is a cigar I'm going to put after that steak dinner. Kind of where I would put a P2.
I agree.
Yeah, it's really, it kind of suits that application for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you be satisfied with just one only, like one and done?
Yeah,
of a deal?
I think this is a cigar. That's a great question. I think this is a cigar that if I only had one cigar, like you know what I'm thinking about? Like I talked about that night that I went to the casino and had that P2 after the steak dinner. This would slot in there perfectly.
Sure.
It'd be either or for me in
Is
that
the-
application.
Is the casino security still looking for you?
Yeah, they were not happy, but it
What-
bothers me, man.
What
like,
color? What color was your shirt?
Black button down.
That's why
yeah.
they were looking for you.
That could be. No, it's annoying, man. Like all these people sitting around smoking cigarettes and they're giving me shit about smoking a cigar. It's like
It's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. Like,
So
give me a break.
in a casino, black shirt is appropriate.
Thank you.
That's a party atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
If you're playing blackjack.
or whatever.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I think it is nap time now. I think the viscosity is a bit thicker on this without the ice, just a bit.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, you can see it on the side of
Yeah,
the glass.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Definitely more bite,
Mhm.
especially in the up through the nose, like in the back of the throat.
Back
Back of
on
the
the
throat, yeah.
finish for sure.
But I think the sherry finish,
Up
the sherry
front,
finishing, I'm getting that sweetness from it.
I get that up
agree.
front.
I do get the sherry. I think the sweetness stays present when it's neat.
Ah, okay.
It does. I think it's better neat.
I'm in the same
Oh,
camp.
it is better neat.
Yeah, I think it's better.
I
neat.
agree with you.
Except for the harshness. If you give it some time, I think.
I will say to my earlier comment about the pairing with the cigar, I think this neat is way better with the cigar than with two ice cubes.
Yeah.
Because it should be. I mean, the flavor profile of this whiskey should match this cigar.
Yeah. So, Senator, you said something to me the other day that I thought was, I would argue, maybe revolutionary.
Oh boy.
We talked about your fantastic trip to Greece and your, partaking of libations in the various days and, various times of the day on your trip. How does this fit in with a shower whiskey, shower scotch?
I don't think
so
it does.
I told Gizmo. Obviously, we've heard about the shower wine from Puba. I think all of us at some point have had a shower beer.
Oh yeah.
When I was on this trip, I was maybe trying to be a little more discreet about the volume I was consuming. So I thought, what a better time and place to drink than in the shower as I'm getting ready to go to dinner. So I pour a scotch on the rocks, nice cold scotch, and in the shower, it's unbelievable.
Well, you're in a hot shower.
In a hot shower.
That's quite nice.
I poured like a full glass of scotch, and I was just like standing in the shower for like 30 minutes, just like pounding this. Like, this is phenomenal, like perfect. So I'm serious. Like, we need. By the way, when we do merchandise, like, we're gonna need like shower scotch, like all these things need to be put on T-shirts. But I'm deadly serious. If you have not had a scotch in the shower,
never,
please pour yourself one on the rocks and do this tomorrow.
Monday morning, 7:30.
You'll need a
in the shower.
You'll have to have a shelf above the shower line, the shower head, right? So you don't get water in it.
Yeah, you
do. How
have
do you
to
navigate that? You guys drink. I've never I'll be honest. I've never had a shower beer. Never had a shower wine.
I've had a lot of shower beers.
Okay.
Usually Heineken.
Gizmo, you've lived such a sheltered life.
Yeah.
I know this. I'm working on it.
So I have a soap tray that's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's a corner tray.
Okay.
And it's above kind of my nose line. So I take a sip and put up there. It avoids the water. That's important.
But I feel like a bottle of beer is a little easier than a glass of scotch.
The glass would survive.
A glass of whiskey.
It's at a higher elevation.
You could also put it in a sippy cup.
That's true. Or with a straw.
Oh, and you won't leave the house.
You won't make dinner.
With a button-down shirt in the shower. The sippy cup.
We're going off the deep end, gentlemen.
Well, if any listeners out there looking to hide his or hers.
I've even got a photo of the shower scotch.
Wow, you didn't send that? Oh, wow.
I never sent it around.
Wow.
No, you didn't.
Look at that.
And there's like a little tray on the side that like no water sprayed onto. It was
My
perfect.
feelings are hurt.
So you also have the phone in the
Who
shower.
did get that photograph? Did anyone get it other than the lizards?
I mean, clearly I was
No,
having
he
too
didn't
much
send it.
scotch. I didn't send it to anybody.
That's a great photo.
Yeah, good thing the phone is waterproof.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Gizmo's wasn't.
Dude, I'm so frustrated with iPhone, man. I told this story to the guys. I dropped my phone, really long story short. I dropped my phone in a puddle in a store. It slipped off my lap as I was getting in my car.
Did you put it on the roof of the car?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's a different day.
Oof. And it fell into a puddle. And, here I'm thinking like, Apple advertises that you can go 30 meters or something deep with these phones and they're fine. And I take the phone out. It works perfectly, everything. But the connector where the cable goes in to charge and connect to your CarPlay and all that stuff just stopped working. I blew it out with compressed air. I took like a little pipe cleaner. I tried to get if there was any rust or whatever it may
rice?
be. Rice, I think, is actually a myth. I don't think that works.
No.
Silica
No,
would probably.
it does work.
Yeah,
Does it?
It absorbs the moisture.
It does.
Anyway, I tried compressed air. I tried a bunch of different things. And
You tried kitty litter?
I did not try silica.
Well, then that
Silica.
would have added moisture to the phone.
I had to get a new phone.
The most surprising part of this entire story to me was when you told me this story, I was just waiting for the moment you were going to say, so I screwed open the entire iPhone.
Changed
and,
the motherboard.
Oh, yeah.
Motherboard. Like, I was waiting for this whole
What the fuck
thing.
happened to that? No troubleshooting?
I didn't do any. Well, no, I have Apple Care, so I let them troubleshoot it, and I said, send me a new phone.
All right.
And I got a new phone the next day, but I was like, the iPhone is clearly not waterproof.
If you need a few pointers, you can ask Bam Bam.
Yeah, Senator said the same. He said, if you need help setting up your phone,
Hey, Pagoda, I gave you some tips on how to use your phone the other night.
You did. Why do you think I'm
And that was
suggesting?
that was
Why do you
doc-
think I'm suggesting?
There's a photograph that documents that night.
I know, but why do you
There
think
is-
I'm suggesting it?
And my caption as the person who took the photo was, Bam is showing Pagoda how to use an iPhone. Mercury is in retrograde.
It's called the deaf leading the blind.
I resent all of these comments. I resent it.
Brewster, you're disavowed. All right, boys, let's take another sip of the Akashi and rate this thing.
What does that mean, Akashi?
It's a city in Japan.
Oh, it is.
Akash
Didn't know
means
that.
sky, by the
Yeah,
way.
Akash, yeah.
So here's my question. You said
in Sanskrit.
it's Akashi White Oak, right?
Yeah,
So-
White Oak is the brand.
So okay,
That's a
it's
distillery.
interesting that it's backwards.
It is on everything. So like
Yeah.
when we say Suntory Toki, Suntory is the brand, Toki is that blend.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right, boys, you guys ready to do the formal liquor rating on this thing?
Sure.
Bam Bam, you're up.
I'm giving it a 7.
7. Pagoda.
debating between a 6 and 7. 7. 7's fine.
Okay. Senator?
I'm going to give it a 6.
6. I'm going to give it a 7 as well, which gives us the Composite Lizard score of a 6.8.
Okay.
Which I think, given my feelings on it, where the pricing is, how it was with ice, without, I think that's a very fair
That's
score.
fair.
It's a very fair score.
Sure.
Yeah,
I like it better. It's better neat, without a doubt. Yeah.
Agree. I'm glad we did a neat pour of this. I just, the reason I went 6, and I was debating 6 and 7. I just, if you're trying, I mean, the fact that this is lightly peated, they're trying to go for flavors that are reminiscent of a single malt Scotch, and to not have the body to match those flavors, to me, you've completely failed at the mission, which was to make this reminiscent of a single malt. So that's why I went for 6 and not 7. And I also, the reason I did this, I would not buy this again or serve this to guests at my home.
Yeah, I agree with you
No,
on that.
yeah.
I will not be reaching for this,
Neither would I.
especially with how we felt about the Suntory.
Sure.
I mean, that was,
Oh,
I think, way better than
absolutely. And Hibiki for me was
this. Yeah,
spectacular.
Hibiki was very good as well.
Spectacular.
And the Nika coffee.
That was
stout.
great.
Oh, the Nika coffee. That
great.
was amazing.
Awesome.
That was
Great.
awesome.
Both of
I
it-
enjoyed that so much. I bought a personal bottle at home after we recorded.
Nice. You're
Is
breaking
that
it
is
out?
that the best Japanese whiskey you've had?
That and
Or-
the Hibiki,
Hibiki.
the both are the best I've
I
had.
think the coffee was better for me than the Hibiki, and I think I
think so.
rated it accordingly. I think I gave that a 10.
I feel the opposite. For me, the Hibiki's above that. Just slightly above it.
Yeah, I prefer the Hibiki too.
Interesting. Yeah, I really liked the coffee. That was very, very good. All right, boys, we're coming to the end here of the Vegas Robaina Unico. I'm curious what your thoughts are as we're coming
Dude.
down to the end of this cigar that was
I'm
made
actually
only-
loving it again.
Yeah, good.
It's some of the original notes are coming back for me.
So are you going to source a box or two of these? Like,
Oh, I would love a box or two for my tower.
yeah.
Well, when you ask him that question,
Are
you
you
mean
gonna-
that you're
Do you
gonna
want me
source
to get
them
you a box?
for him.
Will you share or will you feel the peer pressure too?
Yes and no.
Oh,
Oh yeah. We got to tell
we
this
gotta
story.
tell the story. So
What?
we have a little drama among the group.
Lizard
So
drama.
I had ordered a couple boxes of Ramon Ionis small club Coronas, and Bam said that he wanted a whole box. So I said, fine, he can have a whole box. And the other box we split among 4 of us. Pagoda wasn't here the day that I placed the order, and I was asking who wanted in on it. So when I got them in and I sent the message to the group that they had arrived, Pagoda said, "Oh, if I could have 5, I would love to have 5 of them." And I said to Pagoda, "I only got 5 out of the whole box. Like that's what we all split it, so we each got 5 sticks. But Bam has 25 of them, so I would assume that he could part with 5."
I'm not
And-
looking at you now.
And Bam's
I'm
response,
looking over here.
Bam's response was not
What do you
enthusiastic
say?
to share.
We should
That's
get
not
more.
true.
His response
No.
was, well, "These are great. We should get more of them."
Honestly. All right. So
That's not
listen.
saying yes, Pagoda. I'm happy to share with
it
you.
also wasn't saying no. It was expressing enthusiasm about that cigar. That's
Well,
really, I love that little guy.
The proof's in the pudding because you arrived here today. And
I feel heard.
Before we have all witnesses, before the microphones went on, Pagoda said, "Oh, are you going to share the 5 sticks with me?"
I said you can have 10.
And Bam said, I'm not excited to share any of the sticks with you.
I feel the peer pressure.
He said, I felt the peer pressure to share them with you.
That was a joke.
I'm heard.
You'll get over it. When I deliver 5 beauties to you, I'm sure you'll get over it.
Who
I'm
knows
just-
when that'll be? But
At the clubhouse. Transactions will be made.
I think to make up for this, you should source the next box for the group.
I will.
Ooh.
You know, I
I'm
will
o-
do that.
I'm only gonna live for next 30 years.
So here's so
I'm 55.
this is all right. This is all fair.
I mean, the tower might still be in his garage.
Yeah. It's all fair. This is so for the listener. This is very fair. I am very lazy when it comes to making purchases.
We
and
didn't
buying,
say that.
Buying and sourcing. I am. But I aim to change that. I aim to change that. Yes.
you picked a good time to do it.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well,
Yeah, we hear banned to receiver.
So wait a minute.
One
So
in Rome, you
does
gotta-
this mean that Giz does not have to get any more boxes for you?
No, I
Doesn't
just
have to source any more.
no. That does not mean that.
That's what it means. That means
What
you're gonna do the homework.
Rooster.
You're gonna source the boxes.
Rooster, you got to leave.
Guys, I hope
I'm
you don't
try-
feel the
what
peer
I'm-
pressure.
what-
That's all I'm saying.
It does not mean that Rooster stops sourcing, but what it means, I've got to step up my sourcing game, and I aim to do that
When?
this week.
Starting tomorrow?
this weekend.
In the near future.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the
and
best.
how
No,
are you?
honestly, I got to be honest. I'm not as. You're much better sourcers than I am.
No.
Like, yes, you are. You are.
You can achieve that same.
Let's be real. Hang on.
No,
How
it's
many
true.
boxes did you on your own order from one of our groups that we order cigars from?
Okay, so now this was
to
my
fill
very
those Tupperwares.
yes.
that
Now
you
this
have.
was the very first time I was given access to this exclusive group, and I was like a kid in a candy store. These guys were so friendly, professional.
I know we
I was
really
blown
stopped
away.
you. We
And
really
so-
stopped you for a
and
number of
so-
years.
Well,
from joining.
well, it did stop
like,
because
no,
here's the thing.
no,
I
you
realized I didn't have a tower. I'm in Tupperware. It didn't make sense to continue buying, so I just put a hiatus on it. Now that the tower's here.
You did a lot of good buying for yourself, man.
Well, you guys have everything I have in spades, and you know it.
Well,
I
I
love
didn't
it.
have a La Punta until you had.
And what's
gave
your
us that,
cigar
but
rating,
I
Rooster?
regretted that.
Listen, just as a reminder, though, Rooster only has 30 years left.
Okay.
Okay, just
well, give or take. Mostly take, hopefully.
You got it.
all right, boys. You guys ready to rate the Vegas Robaina Unico? What do you think? Let's
Oh
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Rooster, you're up.
Again,
You're up.
go the other way.
No, you're up.
Nope.
All right, I'm gonna give it an 8, and the reason is the beginning of the cigar I loved. The middle was okay, and I think if the whole cigar was like the beginning, like the
If.
flavors out of the beginning, I mean
If,
that
though,
cigar this would be a 10. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm also going to give it an 8. I've been kind of there since we lit it. I do think with time though that it will be closer to a 9 or 10.
I'm also at an 8, and for me, an 8 or higher is a cigar I would smoke again. And prior to having this, I thought I would never want to smoke one of these again. Having this, I absolutely would smoke another one of these. And I think Rooster's commentary on the first half versus the second half is exactly how I feel. If the first half were the whole way through, this would have got a 9, and I
Yeah.
would actually source a box like tomorrow. But because it was not, it's an 8.
Yep.
I'll smoke one again, but I'm not going to chase these.
Good points. Yep.
I'd give it a 9. I really enjoyed it.
I'm not
it just-
surprised.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
You know, it fits my flavor profile. Really enjoyed it.
So Bam's gonna source you the next box.
Yes,
of
sir.
these.
Yes, sir. You were waiting to say that. I know.
Bam, bam.
I will give it an 8.
8.
And I feel the exact same way Rooster does. I love the beginning, and I noted earlier how much I love the end. The middle was smooth, but it lacked a bit of flavor. But it was very smooth, and the earth notes started to come out in leather, which was very nice.
So the Composite Lizard score is an 8.2.
It's great.
You know, I must say the aroma out of the cigar is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
The aroma is
does.
great.
It's
It is.
intense.
It smells great.
Yeah, that's all part of the experience.
Like
So-
there should be a car freshener of like this smell.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's Unico car fresh.
It is excellent.
It's a great idea.
Here's a question I have for you guys. Do you think, you know, you guys were saying about the middle, do you think that it just needs time?
It's
Or do
hard,
you think
it's
that
hard
it's-
it's hard to tell?
Okay.
You know, like I mean, the Classicos, we smoked those, and that cigar, like from the beginning to the end,
Was spectacular.
you know, it,
Yeah.
it was just awesome.
it never
Flawless.
stopped. It was
So-
it was spectacular.
So
Yeah.
it makes me wonder if I go back and try one out of the older box, see how that compares.
Yeah.
You know, if I can find it.
Are these difficult to source?
Well, that's good. We're going to record episode 2 right after this with
Yeah.
Rooster's Box.
I gotta go. I gotta
Only now you're going.
leave. Got graduations, prom,
Nap.
You know, kind of.
What was your question, Pagoda?
Enough
Are
with the
these
fucking
difficult
nap.
to source?
God damn it! I've never taken an afternoon nap, and you're only like 4 years younger than
That's
me.
true.
So go fuck yourself.
We need a
we need a therapist.
yeah. We need a raccoon in the room.
You're gonna be my raccoon.
Pagoda, I'm sorry. What was your question?
No, nothing. I was just wondering if these are difficult to source.
No, I don't think they're incredibly challenging. I don't think they
It
come
depends
up a
who's
ton.
sourcing Pagoda.
You're right about that.
Oh, Jesus.
Bam's getting blasted.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
No, these and the Famosa both are, I think, fairly reasonable to source. I don't think there is,
Famosas are not available. No, I
yeah,
guess
the
no,
Famosas
they're
are.
in
I see them.
production.
Yeah, I
Right,
see
right.
them. Unicos, though, you can get them. They pop up here and there. Certainly not, their regular production. I don't think they're as, as easy to get as like a D4 or something, or a Monty 2.
They're not really sought after by the average cigar smoker.
A
I
lot of
must say
folks
that.
don't chase these, which I think is unfortunate because the marca I think is just great. But as we discussed, but yeah, these are reasonably normal. I would say,
Available,
to source. Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, to the listener, if you guys ever find like classicos, please email us.
Oh, gosh.
And actually, just send them to us.
Yeah.
Don't smoke them.
don't smoke them.
smoke
Send
them.
them.
They're, really
They're all
shitty.
bad. All right, boys. An 8.2 for the Vegas Robaina Unico tonight. Very good. Pagoda, thanks for the whiskey, for the Japanese whiskey.
Thank you.
And 8.2, boys. We'll see you next week.
Good score.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.